The following information is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute professional medical advice. Please seek professional training on how to stop bleeding.
Hello. This should be a quick class. What do you do if a knife is stuck in your body or somebody else's? An accident has happened. I can think of one case where this happened in the Army. I've told it before. Somebody else was throwing knives and they missed, and it stuck a soldier in basically his buttocks, and stuck right in, went right through the uniform like it was nothing, stuck deep into his muscles on his butt cheek. And let me tell you, when they pulled the knife out, and it bled profusely at that point. So I'm not a doctor or a medical expert. Seek out professional sources for this. But I'm going to tell you what I have learned just from that experience and from everything I've read. And there actually is quite a bit online covering this odd, gory topic. What do you do if somebody has a knife stuck in their body, their arm, leg, torso, wherever, eye socket? They don't discriminate when you get an accidental throw. They hit whatever they hit. And first off, you have a medical emergency at that point. Call 911, call for help. Second, do not remove the knife. Leave it in. You're in big trouble at that point if it's stuck into your torso somewhere. I had a friend who was stabbed in the back. He told me about this. I wasn't there. But some guy, nobody knew the guy, stabbed him in the back with a knife. And didn't leave the knife in, just stabbed him and then took off for some guy on drugs or something. And my friend said that it didn't bleed much at all. It didn't even hurt much. I just felt a little sting, a cold sting on his back. But he didn't know it. He was bleeding profusely internally. And it was starting to fill his lungs, and he got faint, and he passed out. And his friends took him to the ER, and he just barely survived. So you leave the knife in. It could make the difference between bleeding to death internally or making it through the situation. When you get to the hospital, wherever they are, where the professionals are set up to deal with this, and they do deal with this quite a lot, believe it or not. Sometimes it's knife, maybe a crime or an accident, whatever, might not even be a knife, but somebody winds up with something stuck in their body. Leave it in, because it's going to help seal and slow the bleeding. If you pull it out, everything's going to bleed profusely, and a person could bleed out pretty quick from what I've read. So leave it in. If you got it stuck wherever, wrap a clean towel, bandage around where it enters the flesh, and try not to move the person. The less you move, you don't want that knife moving around in there to make more damage. So call 911, leave the knife in, wrap a clean gauze around, try to stay calm. You might want to treat for shock, and treat for shock is going to be in my tourniquet class. You're going to need to know the basics how to treat someone for shock if they've been seriously injured to the point they've got a knife stuck in their body, or you've got to apply a tourniquet because you've severed an artery. You better be prepared to treat for shock as well. It's a serious situation. I hope it never happens to any one of you that are watching this, or anybody you know. But it can happen, and I've known a number of people that have been injured throwing knives, and every case it was fairly serious, so requiring medical attention. And that's all. That's it for this class.
If a knife is stuck in your body or somebody else's body by accident, leave it in. If at all possible, leave it in. Wrap a clean cloth around where it enters the body. Call 911. This is a medical emergency. Just the same, try not to panic. If a knife hits somebody in the eye and sticks in, this can happen. Very bad luck happens. Fortunately, not often, but it can happen. If that happens, do not try to remove the knife. Do cover the eye, the affected eye, and cover the eye that's not affected as well. Because both eyes, if you've got one good eye and you try to look around, the other eye is going to move too. It's going to try to blink. It's going to try to look to the right, left, up, down. You don't want that. So cover both eyes up and wait for help. And be prepared to treat for shock. So hopefully these things will never happen to you or anybody around you. And know that these accidents generally happen from bounce backs. And in my life experience, more than half the time, injuries happen to people who aren't throwing the knife, because the person throwing the knife can see where the knife is. So make sure people around you, if you're throwing knives, are well out of the area, the danger zone. That's all. Good day.